Hi, Gail.
Hey Jim, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. How are you?
I am all right.
How's life treating you over there on the other side of the lake?
It's good. It was remarkable that I kept power the entire time, except for like 3 hours last night. And usually we're always, the first to lose it over here.
I know I've been needling Graham about how wonderful it is to be connected to Pratt Corner Road for the first time as of January of this year. And, well, 30, 36 hours later, what can you do? But I guess National Grid had a hell of a time, but they were responsive. I will, at least from all reports. So I suppose that's good. They had a whole bunch fleet of trucks up there, according to Bob Gross, and bucket trucks, galore. And they must have spent all all last night pulling stuff off of wires. It must have been really quite a spectacular outage, let alone what must have happened to our fiber.
Oh yes, I have an update. In fact, if you'll hold on one moment, I just got another message from Sheld. So
Okay.
I'm just going to put you on mute while I listen to it. It's Bobby Liswell calling with another update. So hold on one moment. I'll be back.
Okay. Hmm.
Hello again.
I hope it was a good report.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was, as I think I wrote you a short time ago. I was plowing my driveway yesterday during the storm, and just came down the driveway, was pulling out, and a white shelled truck, a white fiber spring truck just roared on by. I was just very, very pleased. And there was hardly anybody on the road at that time. So they were already out surveying the situation here in the Lake Wyola area, which was impressive, I think.
Yeah, they sent trucks as soon as they could, meaning, you know, as soon as the roads were clear enough. So yeah, so I'll give a full report on where we're at to start off, but first let's do the boring stuff and approve the meeting minutes from February 15th. Oh no,
So moved.
thank you.
Is this everybody, is it?
This
Hello?
is it. This is it. Both Steve and Craig are traveling, so it's just us.
Okay, all right. Well, it'll be short and sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, so moved. Did someone second?
Jim,
I
that's you.
second. Yes, I seconded.
Oh yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Okay.
Great minutes, Jim.
Yeah.
As
usual.
And Craig, before I forget, Melody's going to put the fried power supply in my mailbox.
Oh, very nice of her.
After retrieving it from the trash.
Oh, yeah, okay. I knew one would have to strike quickly on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that because those cables are very useful for the experimenter, I should say.
Yeah,
all of us.
Jim and I are retrieving the calyx sized barrel connector, you know, the round thing.
Oh, okay.
It's a little screwy. It's useful for something. So yeah. Yeah, well, what an exciting 2 days we've had, huh?
Oh my goodness, it's another repeat of the end of January, all broadband all the time.
Oh yeah, Lord.
So let's see, where do I start? We have many down drops. Between 6 and 10 of them have been repaired. There's 20 more in the queue. And there's another 20 beyond that where they can see that the ONT has gone missing.
Oh, wow.
So we're expecting another 20 repairs kind of on top of what we know about already. All drops.
I bet some of the missing, I bet some of the ONTs that have gone missing are because they're plugged into cyber powers that have gone burned out, you know, basically. And so their power never came back, maybe when no, not even. Yeah.
So remember, we get 2 different alarms when the ONTs go offline. The dying gas is the one that says, oh no, I'm out of power. I'm sending one last ping out. So when we see a dying gas, we know this is probably a power issue.
The fiber's still there. Yeah. Okay.
The fiber's still there. Yeah. When it goes missing, just done, it's gone. That usually indicates a breakage.
Okay. Yeah.
So unfortunately, we are suspecting that most of these are breakage issues.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So Sheld had 3 trucks in the area today. One of their trucks got stuck, which lost us
in a driveway, I guess.
Yeah. They said a lot of the driveways are not clear.
Yeah.
Are not cleared sufficiently. So, you know, I just got some of this information about 10 minutes ago before this meeting.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to direct Shell to do is if a driveway isn't clear, I'm going to say, skip it, skip it, call them back, say, we will not come, because it means if a truck goes in there and gets stuck, we lose time.
Yeah. Just like the oil trucks, just like everybody else. No one comes up a driveway.
It has to be clear.
Gail, could you give me that number again on how many, you know, you started off, how many connections are missing or something like that? I didn't get that.
Sure. So there's been about 10 repairs so far. We know about 20 more need to be done. And there's an additional 20 ONTs that are offline.
And so people haven't communicated. Those people haven't described their drop to anyone, I guess, right? Yeah.
Correct. We know about them, but they haven't called
Yeah.
it in yet. So this could
Yeah.
be due to, it could be like the last storm.
Seasonal as well, too. Some
Could
people
be
are away.
seasonal. It could be they're on vacation. This is a big vacation week.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
could,
yeah.
it
Oh,
could-
yeah.
right? It could also be a power issue where they don't have electricity, and so they don't know that their drop is out still. There's
Yeah.
still people in town without electricity.
Yeah.
So it could be any of those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we will know more. So I think I emailed you all earlier today that around 11 a.m. this morning, I triggered a insurance claim.
Yeah.
I got it started with the adjuster, and I had to hang up on him because Shell kept calling and customers were calling. So it started, but it's not finished yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll keep working on that. What else? Oh, here's a new fun problem. So as you know, there was some weird power issues that happened with this particular storm. Melody, was one of them. There were surges. My lights flickered a lot. I have UPSs on all of my electronic equipment, and I could hear them clicking on and off all day yesterday. As the power lowered, my lights flickered, my UPSs clicked on, but my generator never clicked on. So they're like brownouts kind of. And we also know that surges have happened. It has done something very strange to our Linksys router.
Yes. Because you and I both talked to Mr. Mac.
Mr. Mac, right?
Yeah. And his thing had been reset. He got onto me later, and sure enough, I told him, look on the bottom, is your SSID now what was on the bottom of your Linksys? And he said yes. So he started the process of, and hilariously enough, he was struggling with it, of course, because he prides himself on not being that sort of person, and Lee Masters walked in and Lee said you'd sent him. So Jim, don't mention names of customers. Call him customer too.
And he's not the only customer that called in with that very problem, saying, hey, my phone works, but my internet doesn't. And so it took us a while to figure out what was going on there. So that I expect that Shelled support, or rather Integrity, is going to be getting an awful lot of calls about this. It's a bit complicated in the way that the customer has to do this, and then they have to set up everything again. All of their devices have to enter the new password, and they need to log into the app, and
they may not have done it the first time. Because sometimes the installer did exactly what you wanted for the SSID.
Right.
But a lot of people never changed anything anyhow. You see all these Linksys SSIDs.
Right. So the plan now is tech support is going to try to talk people through doing this as much as they can. Luckily, people have phone, right? But only if they have a landline. This is going to be super difficult if the people don't have a landline and they're only, trying to call in with non-existent cell, or having to drive to the center of town to get service and then get the instructions over the phone.
Yeah.
This is going to be a hard one. So they're going to help.
They can turn on their phone for a month and
Yeah.
get the instructions directly if they've got an analog phone handy.
Yeah. So they're going to try to help people as much as possible over the phone. I think there's going to be some truck rolls to help people with these routers, for people who just can't, figure it out. I know there's going to be problems of, especially things like TVs that were working fine. And, people have to go back in and go into the settings of their smart TV. Yeah. It's hard for people. So,
we could resell their time, just like any wiring. If Verizon has to do a thing on your wiring in your house, the stuff inside the house, then that could be they could get any technical person to do it. I mean, it could be something that we say, okay, if they authorize it, then they'll come at whatever the price is. We could subsidize that price, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, we could. The place where it gets tricky is that, we own the routers.
We
I thought
provided them initially.
No, we don't own them.
We don't own them. We gave them to them.
We gave them.
Well, we did, but we tell them if they move to leave it, and that if anything goes wrong with it, we replace it.
Goes wrong with it, we'll replace it. But we can do that for something we don't own. It's like, okay, no, it's a little.
Yes, we could.
It's on an edge,
Yeah, we could. You're right. We could charge for this. I think that this is a part of a discussion we probably need to have with a larger group about our policy around this.
No, just to think about.
I'm not comfortable all of a sudden charging, especially during a storm. People are very stressed and unhappy based on all the people that I've talked to this week. And I think we just need help them in any way we can. And
Gail, you probably do appreciate that this is an argument for the potential of supervised thing, because it's the stressed, unhappy people that are just so, these days you just don't want people to be stressed and unhappy, because there's so many places they can, even customer 2 that we were talking about before, he was lamenting how wonderful the days of Crocker had been, and I said I could never get them to answer the phone. I always got their answering service, and so I don't know what he remembers, but everybody's got different memories, so
and so anyway, we're gonna keep watching this, and we're gonna get some good metrics out of this disaster. Of how many of these truck rolls could have been prevented if we had had a managed router. It's times like this when the managed router actually matters.
And I'm sure Integrity can reset SSIDs, or Shell could reset SSIDs for if something had. They could see what's going on. That's the real thing. They can do what they have to do because it is supervised.
I mean, they can see and control just about everything with those managed routers, and we'll see more of that in April during our next meeting when we get a nice little demo of how good these are. I expect it'll be a full day of repairs tomorrow. I expect it'll be a full day of repairs on Friday. We will keep going into the weekend if needs be, but I'd love to see them, get done by Friday.
So I did, because Lee Masters walked in on customer number 2. I had a brief opportunity to chat, and I asked him. I asked the 2 questions that I had in mind, and that was the one that came up last month, and that was, does Fibersonic? I know the GigaSpire U6 is a pretty recent things, and I said, so is that the standard router in shelled territory? And he said, and I said, how many? And he said around 1,200. And I said, do they ever not reset? Do they ever not come back when the power goes off, power bumps and surges and whatever? And he said, I have not heard of it happening in any of those 1,200. So I took that to be, I thought, oh, okay, well, that's nice. Another plus, and I'm sure he wasn't misrepresenting it. 1,200 is their sample, but only for a year, 2 years, whatever. So, so those were the 2 questions I asked him.
But remember that Shell's environment down there in South Hadley is a lot more benevolent, so to speak, electrically speaking, than ours. With what we have to deal with,
fewer power failures, but even in urban things, you get bumped for 10 minutes and switching things and surges. I'd never heard of a router. I'd never heard of a router resetting to factory settings.
I find that. But I've certainly played around with these Linksys routers, many times, including ones that don't work very well.
Yeah.
And that I've never seen.
No, it was new to me
so
too. Usually you have to press that button, and that's the only way you can get there.
I'm puzzled by that. Maybe, maybe it was because the power, well, the flickering would drop out. The power actually for several different times dropped out for about a second and then came back on again. And that
Yeah,
was
customer 2 had a definite surge because his pellet stove blew its fuse.
Yeah, stuff like that. So
Real surge. Yeah.
With the links is unable to, it starts to go into a sort of a recycle mode, and then to get power thrown at it again.
Yeah.
Who knows what? It's difficult, very, very difficult situation for electronic appliances.
Yeah. Anyhow, we survived another storm, and that was more snow. I don't know about. I think Jim, you and I got around 20 inches, or I got 20 inches anyhow.
At least 20.
Yeah, at least 20. It's as much snow as I've seen in 20 years.
Yeah. 36 hours of snow nonstop.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, quite the storm.
The other thing we should mention to people, and it could be one of your when Gail, you do the next newsletter sort of thing, and that was a good one that you did in the paper.
It's great to see your picture in the paper. That was fantastic.
My 15 seconds of fame. We're not even minutes. 15 seconds.
Well, Helen Ann remarked, Gail's fairly tall, but in the picture, what's his face?
Oh my God, he's enormous. he is so
Charlie
tall.
Makes you look like a Lilliputian. Yeah, but anyhow, I was going to say, in your next thing, you should put it out there in the summertime for people, anyone who's having any tree work done in their own premises, to get that person to look at their own where the power comes in and the fiber, anywhere where it's aerial, because that's their opportunity to do 20 minutes of work that would get rid of dead branches that are hanging above the thing. And you can motivate them by saying, and guess what? A storm's going to bring it down, but you might be out of internet if it's a big storm for 3 days, so it's self-interest for them to look at that before the winter, if they're the sort of person who does go out in their yards. Not everyone does,
but we have said that on numerous occasions.
We have to say it every year.
We'll just put it in there again, and maybe it'll just be like our regular spring article.
It's just something that we should say every year, Jim. Probably twice a year.
Yep. Anyone know off the top of their head when our next Our Town is going to come out? We just had one now.
Yeah,
the
next seasonal.
One is like September. I think it's September.
They definitely have one in the fall.
Well, no, there will probably be one right before annual town meeting, which is June 3rd.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
Well, they usually have one
because of the inserts. You're right.
Yeah, the inserts. Yeah.
So that would be the perfect opportunity to write one of these standard screeds, and then we just keep on hitting people with it, because some people will get rid of the dead branches, and that'll be one drop that we don't have to. And even someone like me, it'll remind me, oh yeah, I should look along the power line, because the power can get knocked down, the fiber can get knocked down. And Fiber Spring certainly did better than if Comcast lost a drop in a storm. See, you're waiting days.
Okay, hold on. I'm just making a note of this to remind me during, let's see, so we'll probably do that in April.
Yeah, and you can acknowledge, wow, we had a big storm. Wow, this many people lost drops. Wow, you can be out of service for a few days on a big storm. Get out there.
I think my headline is going to be something like, "Want to make your internet more reliable?"
Yes, it's a reliability thing. Absolutely, yeah. That'll motivate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. hut report.
Hey, you
Graham,
can make some joke about the last mile. We did that, but the last 100 yards is the piece that's failing now. It's theirs. So yeah, okay. Yeah, the hut. I got the power. I meant to tell you. The power.
Oh, isn't
the
that
power
cute?
monitoring thing is here. I will definitely install it next week. As I mentioned, I looked inside the panel. It's a trivially simple install. Nothing has to be turned off. There's plenty of room in that power panel. And
What was that you just, what was that?
this is, remember last month, I said that we could fairly easily get a power monitoring thing to work out how many kilowatt hours go through our panel every day, every month, every year. I got exactly the same one as I use in my house. Next time you're here, Jim, I'll show you the wonderful app. I could show it to you anywhere because it's on my phone. If you have Wi-Fi, I have the app. But anyhow, there'll be one for the hut, and anytime anyone has any question about the power, be it momentarily right now or be it over any period, the app is really intuitively simple to use, and a few years, I guarantee you that I'll give you regular reports on any question you want to. I could tell you, moment's notice almost. It's a really simple app.
So this is both an application and a little bit of hardware.
It's the hardware.
Because that's something to measure the current.
It's amp clamps. It's amp clamps with artificial intelligence.
Amp clamps without it.
Yeah. So it's a power meter. It's a Wi-Fi power meter. Will be installed next week sometime.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other news from the hut?
I swept the floor. There were a bunch of dead, the dozen or so dead ladybugs as usual. I didn't take the covers off of both outside things, but I will do that when I install the power thing. But I'm sure the steel wool is stopping the mice moving back into the air handler that's inside. And as I mentioned in my add to the minutes, I don't know whether Jamrog got back to you with the part they're ordering, because the louvers, see on my air handling thing, the black line there, those are louvers. Those louvers on the one in the mouse bit, the thing that makes the louvers open, so you can set them open manually. But the thing that the little piece that the mouse chewed through, the technician was going to order. The replacement for them, and I'm sure he probably went back and maybe forgot about it, but who knows. But if you didn't hear about it, I didn't hear about it.
I've got nothing. No.
Did Jamrog send you a bill? It's probably going to Becky. So I don't know. Do you want to call Jamrog and establish an account that is not Becky?
Yeah. Which did you work with Jason at Jamrog?
Most likely, yeah.
No, Jason didn't turn up. Mark was the senior. He was the technician, and he had a helper called Ryan.
All right,
so Mark's someone.
All right, so Mark and Ryan, and he was going to order a new, what would you call it, a lever?
Yeah, it was to replace a chewed cable that controls the louvers on the indoor unit. He should remember as soon as anyone asks him.
All right, I'll just send him an email. I'll copy you and just ask him about the status of it, and
and
a reminder to please bill us directly.
Yeah. You might end up having to phone Jamrog and set up an account that somehow or other. If they're not talking to you already, then they're probably just talking to Becky, and Becky might be wondering what that means. So.
Yep. Okay. All right.
When they get it, when they tell you they get it, I'll go back and meet them there again. So, you know.
Great. All right, other things. Well, we covered all the maintenance and service that's been happening this week due to the storm. I did get an email from Wim on your neighbor. Those poles finally are going to get lit on April
Wow.
1st.
Wow.
I contacted National Grid to say, hey, can we please like fast track the app, you know, the pole licenses here. These are brand new poles. It's going to get lit. I can have a truck out there in 2 days as long as we get a license. They said, no, you can't submit a license until the poles are active, until they show up in the system.
God.
So I warned Wim that it could be another 6 to 9 months before we can actually hang fiber.
Thanks.
Because if the poles show up on like, even if they show up on April 1st, I submit the applications within a couple of days, and then the application process kicks in. We don't know what this looks like for new poles. We also don't know what it looks like for the new National Grid online app. You know, we're not passing back and forth spreadsheets anymore. This is a new process. I'm hoping it's going to be better, but I don't want to set him up for disappointment to say, you know, you're going to, like, as soon as you get electricity, you're going to get fiber. No, it could take this whole time.
Can I tell him that he should complain to our new Aaron Saunders, to our new state rep, that's a terrible process they now have. So
Sure. I mean,
yeah.
I would complain when did those polls go in?
Yeah. No, he
Been...
should complain. He should complain to his state rep, and I'm sure he will. He's pretty eloquent, and they might be able to move National Grid off of that preposterous schedule. I mean, that's a total absurdity.
Yeah, I recommend not making the complaint yet, because again, we don't know.
Okay.
We don't know. It could, like, we're not going to know until we make the submission. So, you know, I'm going to work with my contact at National Grid to submit the polls for the license, and then let's just wait and see about what they say. It could go really fast, and it could just be like, great, here's your license, they're brand new, go for it. But it could be like, nope.
Sorry, I thought you'd already. Yeah, okay, I misunderstood. Yeah, very good. Okay, well, as soon as, if you know that it's going to be horrendous, then let's pass that word back to Wim to complain about it.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's a good plan.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness he's not actually having to live in that house. Can you imagine?
Yeah, but it makes it pretty useless to not be able to have to go there. I mean, he can get satellite for 9 months, but you know.
No. I mean, like, if it was a brand new house and he,
they
were like living there with trying to get electricity. Hello.
It's shocking, horrible, isn't it? Yeah. And that wasn't actually National Grid's fault. It was the basis of the power meters. Yeah. So.
Yep. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and just show. I've decided, instead of just showing things verbally, I'm more of a visual person, and so for financials, I'm just going to show you where we're at. I think it'll be a better way to do this.
Jim, you'll be able to take a screenshot.
Yeah. Okay, just one more minute here. Let's pull it up on this screen.
Looks good.
All right, can you see that okay? Here, let me make it bigger. Ooh, that's much bigger. You're too big. Okay,
Perfect.
good. Okay. So I'm pretty proud of this spreadsheet that I made. It works as like a little mini accounting database. So we have all of the individual expenses here. And then when they get entered, they automatically add up here. So at any given moment, we can know where we stand.
Wow.
So right now our debit is about 237, 413. And that leaves us with about a $214,000 balance as of February.
Very good.
All right. Down here, I have the stabilization depreciation, which is not included up here because these are separate. And I threw in our gift fund just for fun. By the way, our apparel order is in. I'm waiting for a new proof to come back about our little embroidery logo. As you can imagine, this logo up here looks horrible when you try to sew it. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like these little spaghetti things, like they just look like somebody messed up on a sewing machine. And the lines, you know, these lines in between did not write. So I turned the logo completely green and took away these spaghetti things, and I'm waiting for that new proof to come back.
Okay. Send it back to Greg Colton to redesign it so that
I wasn't able to get a screenshot of that because it was bouncing around so much. And what
That's okay.
details?
Here, I'll bring it back up. There you go.
Maybe the whole thing.
Yep. So
just that page is this is what you want?
yeah, I mean for your
that's
purposes. So these are like MLP fees, and these are debit balance.
I don't know if this is, I can't, grab is not working the way it's supposed to here.
That's all right. Can I, what would be easiest for you, Jim? I could just copy and paste these and put them in a quick email to you.
Yeah, that would be better.
right,
I
you got
can't, it's just the grab function in Mac OS. When I do that, then it drops out of Zoom. It's too complicated to explain.
Don't worry about it.
we've still got wind crashing snow out of the trees just on the roof.
Oh, I
here.
know. I went out snowshoeing, and
Wow.
I thought somebody had thrown a snowball at my head.
You brave person.
You know, like
yeah.
it hit my head. I was like, "Where did it?" And it was it was coming off the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jim, that is coming to you.
Or can you send me a copy too? Sorry, I should have
Yes.
asked quicker. No.
That's okay. Easy.
I love spreadsheets.
Oh, this isn't a spreadsheet. It's just a little screenshot of the.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. All right, so we talked about the apparel order, the safety vests. I ended up having to order them from a different company because, as you can imagine, sewing doesn't work well on mesh.
Yeah.
So instead, I got screen prints of those. The cost was almost equal. It was only like a couple bucks different. So I got some of those for us. Wanted to check in to make sure that we don't have anybody up for election this year on our MLP board. I have Jim, you're expiring, or not you, your term is expiring in 2025.
Oh dear.
Graham, your term 2024, and Steve's in 2024. Does all that sound right to you?
Yeah,
Yes.
Steve and I are the same. I vaguely
Okay.
remember that. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we don't have to do the hullabaloo of
Yeah.
elections this year, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
For our last storm, I received a check for $7,000 in change. It came very quickly. So that was great. And I gave it to Ryan to deposit. I don't know how this works for accounting, but that's their job. Ryan and Gail will figure it out of like when an insurance claim comes in, does it land in like our MLP fees? Is it just listed as income? I trust them that they know they've done this before and know how to account for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have our FinCom meeting coming up next week on March 21st. So I will be showing our budget on that night. It should be pretty quick. Jim, I know you're going to be there because you have to be for the FinCom. Steve is not going to be there. He's still going to be traveling. I think Craig is still going to be traveling too. I think it'll just be us, Graham. If you want to come, great, but no obligation.
Yeah. If there's nothing better to do that night, I might come. Okay.
Our next meeting in April, the third Wednesday in April, we're going to have Calyx do a presentation of their ONTs. And one of my questions to you guys is, do you want me to invite some people from Sheld to
Totally.
give their...
I think that'd be a great idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will.
Jim, you're not against that, are you?
What?
Inviting Shell.
Inviting people from Sheld to the Calyx presentation next month.
No, why would I? No.
I just sprouted up. Yes, I did.
Right.
I didn't seem like I'd given, didn't want to overrule you.
No. All is well.
Okay. One moment, just making a note to make sure I invite all the Sheld folks. Probably just Bobby and Lee.
Yeah, I think that, yeah.
All right.
And so they'll be talking mostly about the GigaSpire 6, right?
Correct.
Okay. Our next meeting is April what?
That's going to be, let's see, April 19th.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to share my screen again. So I've started this document for us to collect questions and answers about our router. So these are some new questions that came up during our last meeting. Here's some bolded questions that I've already asked them and we have some answers to. And just random information. So I will share this document with a group so that you can all noodle on it and add questions. So we have something to send to Calyx ahead of time saying, hey, we're going to want you to answer these questions so we don't have to do another back and forth during the meeting, giving them questions, having them go off and investigate. I want to get it all in writing.
Excellent.
I've made minor progress on the our website, trying to just get it revamped and more user-friendly. The answer I got from the web team is that they are unable to host a WordPress site. So, we're kind of stuck in Drupal if we stay with the town services. If we deviate from that, then we can do whatever we want. We'd still need to host our main page to be official on the Shutesbury website, but then it could just do, click here, just like the libraries page, and then it goes to a whole nother site. So I'm going to look into getting some quotes from some WordPress designers to what would it, how much would it be to rewrite our site in WordPress. Once it is written, it's fairly easy to make updates and change things. I'm confident that I could handle that part, but I'm not in for like learning WordPress and website design. I think we need to farm that out for the initial build.
Yep.
And also getting into like annual hosting for that. I think it's minimal. This is not going to be a bank breaker if we want to do it. It's more a matter of, do we want to add another task, complication, expense to our ongoing operations, right? We're going to have to, work with a designer. It's all going to have to be redone. We're going to start hosting our site elsewhere. So that's going to be an annual expense going forward. So it's kind of a matter of, do we think it's worth it for a better functioning, more modern looking website?
It actually might also make it a little simpler and easier for the person in your position, Gail, because at the moment you have to go to a bunch of, to very noble volunteers, but it's sometimes there's a lot of back and forth in a process like that, surely. To do something through the web committee.
I do have edit access.
Oh,
so
you can
I do. It's
Okay.
not difficult, but it is clunky in the way that I can't change fonts. I don't know if you've noticed on our web page, but like there's weird spacing, like there's no uniformity to how the commands are formatting. It's Drupal is fine, but it doesn't give you kind of that modern slick look that a lot of the web pages do. So
sure, yeah.
I can change things directly. I'm limited in what I can do.
Yeah, okay.
Did they has the web committee told you about, because they came before FinCom at our last meeting and wanting quite a bit of money to upgrade, was it Drupal, like whatever it is, and which included something that would make the search engine more to our liking, as I recall. That is to say, the search could be confined to just our section of the web page. That was my understanding. It seems like they're making a lot of improvements, which is why I'm a little bit leery about going into WordPress and creating our own page. And of course, that also evokes the question: how many people actually view the page? Is it worth all this trouble? I don't know if I can answer that question, but.
I wonder if the web team uses Google Analytics and if we can get some page view stats.
Yeah,
let me ask them.
Page views would tell it, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Although would that be for the whole site or specifically our section of the site? That could be a problem. It could be very difficult to get something that would hone in just on our section of the town's webpage.
Yeah, when I've used analytics programs in the past, you can get very specific about which pages people are clicking on, how long they like. It's kind of creepy, the information you can get, but it's a matter of, are they collecting these? Do they have an analytics engine running in the background of these Drupal pages? We don't know. But I'll ask. We'll see what we can get. It would be helpful for this conversation. All right, that is everything on my list for tonight's meeting. Do you guys have anything else? Okay.
I only have one question, and that is when a storm happens, I know that you get a gazillion emails, I think you've described, of statuses of things happening. But is there any, did Sheld ever give you any dashboard sort of thing of the big picture of Shutesbury, of like how many ONTs are up, how many ONTs are have disappeared? Is there anything like that or is it totally just in the weeds of a lot of emails that?
Up until a couple of months ago, I was getting ONT offline notifications, and there is something wrong with, I don't understand what it is, the software, the hardware. Lee's been working on it for a couple of months. The triggers for those ONTs are not properly happening. They have a system where they have that type of dashboard there, but all I've ever had is the emails, and I haven't had the emails in 2 months. The thing that I get is tickets. So when somebody actually calls with a problem, I see that ticket run its way through the progression and you know, when it gets escalated. So
do they have a ticket dashboard that gives them a summary of how many tickets are open right now, and that sort of thing? Or is it a live board of tickets? So that, I mean, if you're getting a notification that a status on a ticket, that's interesting and useful, but somehow or other, does that get assembled anywhere in a way that for instance, you know, as we know from Crocker, once a month at least, we've got a ticket summary for the month. That would be really, really useful to have and see, just because then one could sort of, you know, you get. I would think that sort of analytic on their ticket system must be available to them, and therefore, could they give you a monthly report on you know, on the ticket stuff of the previous month at least? Yeah. So how difficult would it be for them to come up with some version of that is easy for them to do, but that they could do once a month?
yeah, I mean, I know that they use the Spry Point system, which we use during the whole construction process. I will ask what kind of reporting we could get.
A summary is yeah. What happened in the tickets in the summary, you know. It's just kind of, you know, yeah, it gives you such a feel of what all of our customers are doing in, you know, the last little while. You know, at the moment we all are pretty much trapped in you know, you'll see something on Nextdoor, and if nobody thanks them and likes it and whatever, if it doesn't get promoted, you can figure, okay, this is a rare thing. Or if everybody starts squawking, then you know, oh, this is a thing, a real thing. But that's not a very you know, that we don't want to be finding out about our network in third hand, you know, or trying to work it out from the shadows on the walls. So monthly report, what happened last month?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only suggestion I would make. That would be a useful and cool thing, and yeah, and useful for us with oversight picture. So.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Oh, and just so you know, customer, you don't have to put in the minutes, but customer number 2 was totally thrilled with how well Lee Masters sorted out just took the reconfiguring his router and fixed it up. And 10 minutes later, customer 2 sent me a text saying, "Thank you very, very much, and thank you, Gail." You know, he was had suddenly become a huge fan of Fiber Spring. So.
Well, good. I'm glad
Yeah,
someone's
right.
happy. At least one person's happy.
At least
during
one
this week.
person out there is happy. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, one person is happy.
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah. You do one a day, then that's all you know. Cool. Yeah.
Yep. I Yes, I did. Was it on Tuesday? I had somebody hang up on me. That was fun.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
They're out
Yep.
there.
Can't please everybody all the time. And
Yeah.
yeah.
No names are mentioned, I trust.
No names are mentioned.
No
No
names.
names are mentioned.
Yeah, it's all recorded.
You know, we could send out a hit score.
so.
Just a nasty email or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we've survived the last, hopefully the last storm of the winter, and we've done good. So,
Yeah.
Fiber Spring have done good. And Dal, you kept your head above all that snow, so, you know, with all that stuff rolling around. Yeah, so good job.
Yep. Another word. I hate to say it. We're getting better and better at our emergency response plans.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, before I let you go, I'm wondering, one of the challenges that I saw during this storm and last storm too was we have no visibility into road conditions. Sheld kept asking me what, like, are the roads passable? Like, I have no idea. I can't even like leave my, I'm literally snowed in. I don't know. I don't know what the road conditions are. And I suggested that when they call the customers, or rather when a customer calls in, that they ask the customer, is your road plowed yet?
Yeah.
But can you guys think of any other way that we could do this?
Yeah, it could be suggested to when whoever runs the highway department next, to see if there's some technology that could be put on the snowplow and the sanding truck. Because that would be a really, really useful thing to
useful, but impossible here in Shutesbury. I am sorry. Just
there's
knowing how, having dealt with Tim Hunting and how the highway department is run.
Yeah,
boy,
but Jim, remember there's a change of the guard coming next year, if we can believe the schedule. So I suspect that when we're talking to interviewing whoever is applying for the position in the next thing, that such technology does we should know what it is. We can find out what sort of thing we would be suggesting. It could be a GoPro camera. Just kidding, but on the truck. But there's only 2 or 3 trucks that are critical. 2 big trucks that that could leave a track on a map, and I don't think such a map is all that.
Graham, this is way beyond what the highway department is capable.
Well, no, it would just be a device on a truck. Yeah, it's not anything anyone has to point.
And then you're not certain whether that applies to the specific location of it. I just.
Oh, okay, but it'd be one useful piece of information. It like Gail says, and Gail and I are on, as well, where we are. We're at the end of the. It'd be a cool thing to. So I don't know that it's a simple, trivial map that could be up there on the website, but I suspect that we're not very far away from such apps. So. And $100 device on each truck. There's only 2 trucks we need to keep track of, so maybe 3 max. All right, enough said.
Yeah,
it's the future.
It would be great.
Yeah, but they can ask the customer, has your road been plowed and sanded, and have you had the tree removed, and is your driveway passable?
Yeah, right.
So that's question number 2, really important. And some people won't know what the road is because they haven't even got down the silly driveway. And then the 3rd question is there a tree on this thing that you need to get off? You, the customer, have to get the tree out of the way because they can't deal with the tree.
Yeah.
Anyhow, That'll be next winter.
We can dream.
Yeah. So, and
Gail,
of course, I guess we get storms all year round. But yeah.
could you, could you spell the town's, the name of the town's web software, Drupal? I've never really quite.
DRUPAL. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure.
All right, hold on.
Let me, here, I'll look it up quick to make sure.
Okay.
Drupal web. Yep, DRUPAL. Open source CMS.
Oh,
Drupal web software. Okay, thank you.
Well, that's why we got it, eh? Because it was open source. It grew.
Do you know of any towns, Graham, that actually provide that sort of data about how well they're plowing and everything on?
No, no, I don't.
It's a bit of a stretch for Shutesbury.
when the changing of the guard is going to happen, I will definitely, by then I will research it, because I think yeah.
No, I actually, I mean, if it was possible, I think people would be intrigued to see, well, I don't know how they would, you know, a GoPro camera.
No, I was joking.
Yeah,
I was joking
yeah,
about that. Yeah. No, there's a privacy issue there too. So
Yeah, you know, one thing that would be so simple that I would so love to see is just a form that people in Shutesbury can go to fill out to report road issues.
Mhm.
You know, potholes or down trees or something. It would be so easy to implement and give people a way to communicate with their DPW, because our people are the eyes, right? And I think a lot of these problems just live on because nobody knows that they're there.
Yeah, though, potholes maybe, but down trees, I'd never go. Okay, yeah, for some things, I'd never go to a website to put a report in for a down tree. I'd call the cops, or
Well, I think that's what happens exactly.
Yeah.
Either that or the fire department, emergency services. So
yeah, I can imagine the sort of things that we're most concerned about are more immediate, that people aren't likely to want to use a go to an online sort of thing and fill in forms. You kind of I don't know, but yeah, for potholes, for some things that would be a good idea. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe Shutesbury will get into the future at some point, but
Gotta happen,
we'll,
right? Yeah.
We'll keep trying.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. And I'll keep emailing you with updates about the storm, what we see over the next couple of days. But Sheld is doing what they need to do. We're doing the best we can to get customers back online and keep on keeping on.
Yeah. Great job on managing it. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
just thank you, Gail. You've had to put up with a lot lately.
I know. I am ready for this winter to be over.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.